Hi and welcome to yet another Facemaker video tutorial. I am Nuno and today I'll be creating a watch face. I'm going back into these watch face making videos because I think they're more useful for you as a newbie or as a Facemaker user to get to know Facemaker better by watching me using it. And today I thought about creating this watch face. Okay, I got this from the internet. This is from a nice designer called Shard, I guess. At least its watch face collection is called Shard. Has great watch faces for Android or rather Wear OS watches. So if you have a Wear OS watch, go and buy this guy's watch faces because they're great. And since I'll be reproducing it, I won't be sharing this watch face, okay? So I think we should respect the creators, watch faces, and I won't be sharing it, okay? So I got this image, this reference from the internet, and I, cut the image all around so it occupies only the useful part of the image. And this is GIMP, by the way. You might prefer to use Photoshop, whatever. So in order to import this image into Facemaker, all you have to do is Control-C or copy the image here, and then go into Facemaker, add a background image, and then click this image preview here and press Ctrl-V. And there we go. This is how easy it is to import images straight into Facemaker. And you can do that from a web page, for example. So, yeah. So you can notice that this image is larger than the image canvas, than the watch canvas, I mean. So let's resize it. Make it 466 by 466. Okay, this is now done, and we can now start creating this watch face. And hold on, because this is going to be a fast process. Okay, otherwise the video will get too long. Okay, so we added the image, and I'll start by creating this backmost layer, this one here, which I believe it's black or near black. I'll be putting this image I added on the top left corner, and then I'll press generate. And here I am going to select a pure black or close to black. Let me see here. Now this is black, this one isn't, so let's just make it black and add it to the favorites. Okay, so we have this image here. Let's make it the same size as the watch canvas, and done. We can proceed and lock and hide the background, the black background image, so it doesn't get in the way. And that way you'll also be able to see the reference. Now I want to create this part here. So we have this layer which has this cutout here that shows the black background here. Okay, so we're going to create this, and for that we have a tool called the vector draw. Let me just resize the interface just a little bit, just so we have a little bit more space, and select draw vector on this image. Oh dear, sorry, I forgot that I still had the old image here, so let's regenerate it, just like that, hide it, and now add a new image, and select draw vector. Okay, now we can draw, so let's zoom in. Oh, and by the way, you should enable the guidelines. Okay, so press Ctrl-G. There we go. Now, I'll start by creating this shape from here, and then press Ctrl-Alt to keep the line in 45 degrees increments, like this, okay? So we know this is a perfectly straight line. Oh, I forgot. Okay, you'll notice that this as a border. Okay, so we should start building here because I'll be adding the border with an image effect here, and the image will be incremented outwards. Okay, so let's push this into the left, or rather let's delete this point and start over. So here and here, and now I can see we have a curve here. So to make this curve, we should start by putting a control point here, another in here, and then we can tweak these control points just like that and create this curve. So we can now proceed, add here another curve, so just like that, and you know, try to match the best you can this curve. And then, oh, by the way, to keep the preview of the line, keep the Alt key pressed, okay? So Alt will keep the line visible before you create it. So call it a preview. And if you press Control and Alt at the same time, you get those 45 degrees increments, okay? So now let's create this one here, like that. There, and tweak the curve, and there we go. So almost done. All we need to do now is go up past the middle guideline here that marks the middle of the watch face and insert a control point. And why are we doing this? Well, this is because I'll be using symmetry later, a mirror. So I'll be copying this quadrant onto the other side. So we only need to make half of the image. Okay, so right now we are in the middle of the image. So now all I have to do is go all the way up, add a control point there, then add another one here, and you know, try to create somewhat of a circle. Oops, sorry, this happens to me a lot. And what you can do if you had a duplicate dot, a control point, all you have to do is Control Alt, the same as when you do a 45 degrees preview. If you're over a point, you can delete it. Okay, so let's zoom out and try to fix this. And it doesn't have to be perfect because this will basically be hidden, okay, behind these circles here. So no need to be perfect. Okay, one here, and now pull the line down, and this one now, right there. And now we can simply fill. We don't need to connect the points, okay? If you press fill, Facemaker will find the shortest point between the first, or rather the first and the last control point, and connect them automatically. Okay, so we have the shape we need. Let's press save, and there we go. We have half the image. And now we need to copy it onto the other side, duplicate it. And for that we have the image effects up here, and you select mirror and horizontal, and there we go. Just like that, we have a full image just the way we needed it. Okay, so now let's apply, and let's start thinking about the color, or rather this is a gradient, and you know, I'll allow myself some creativity. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the reference. So you know, I'll do whatever I can to make it look good instead of exactly like the reference. Okay, so when you select the color picker here, the first color that is selected is this one. Okay, so you don't need to click it and then select the color picker. So I'll go straight to the color picker and select this color here. Then I'll add another color here on the center and pick this color here. And finally, the last one, and I believe I need one lighter here. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we have this, and I think I need to rotate it something like that. And yeah, I guess this will work. Okay, so now we have this, and we need that border there. Okay, so I'm first going to apply this and then crop the content, because the border will take into consideration the full height and width of the image. And right now we had, it was 466 by 466, the full size of the canvas, and we don't need that. And we want to be accurate now. Okay, so select the border and go with mode 2. Mode 2 is better for round shapes. Okay, so here I'll go and select, or try to select, let me hide the image for now while we try to sample the colors. So select the border color picker here and start picking the colors. So this one first, add one in the middle and pick, and then right there. Okay, so this should be done now. Let's unhide the image. And okay, so let's give it 3 pixels width and height. But I can see that we need some sort of inner shadow here. Okay, so let's add it first, or beneath the border effect. So let me show you here. So inner shadow, and put it beneath the border, and there we go. Now we have a clear marking between the border and the inner color itself. But I think it's too strong right now, so let's make it fainter, something like that. Something that marks that, that difference between the border and the inner color. So let's proceed. Let me just tweak a little bit this in here, I guess. Yeah, let's go with 1. It should be good. Okay, so now we can proceed, and I think I will create these 2 circles in the center, and this is very easy. You just add an image and press generate, and I'll go with full black. Okay, we're creating this this black circle here. So let's try. What I usually do is I place it on the top and on the left, and then I simply resize it. And I try to match the width and height. So 142. Okay, so let's make it the same width and height, and then make it a circle. So the sphere. There we go. So this is now done. Let's duplicate, because we need to create these concentric circles here above. So for that, you simply clone this shape here, and you can simply select effects and go and add a pattern effect right here. And for this, or rather, it's not the pattern. I think I'll go with a straight circles effect, and there we go. First, we need to set the line width. So let's set it, and also the amount of circles, so the line spacing between them. Okay, and now I need to add, let me see here. Okay, so I guess this will work. Let me apply it and then add a gradient. So with this gradient inserted, now we can set the gradient. So I'll go and select this color, and then this brighter color here. This should be a little bit brighter, something like that. Okay, and then I will add another one and make it black. So right now we have this, but we need it to be concentric. Okay, so let's change the gradient type here, and then just mess around with it in here. So I need one here, or rather one here, and then let's create some boundaries right there, and another one here and another one here, and then we select this lighter color, and then we can click here and add it again, just like that. Okay, so now we need to tweak it. I don't think this is perfect yet, but we will get there. So okay, I guess this is now done. I'll apply it, and then finally I'll apply a inner shadow. So the inner shadow will add a shadow into each of these these circles here, and we're achieving that effect there. Okay, so let's increase the strength and perhaps the blur. Let me see here, and yes, I believe this will work. So let's apply all. This is now done, and we can now merge these two. But first I need to account for something here. You'll notice that this effect here on the top isn't perfect. Why? Because when creating the circles, it creates all the way until the last circle, even if the circle goes beyond the boundaries. So for that now we need to take care of it, and the best way to take care of it is make it a circle. So the sphere. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. Oh dear, it's not this one, it's this one. I'm sorry. So the sphere. There we go. Now this is now solved. We can simply add a or rather merge these two here. So let's merge them. Okay, and now we need that border. You can see in the reference. So let me just show the reference here real quick, and there we go. We have this border here, and we need to replicate it. So in order to do that, just go into the effects and add a border effect in mode 2. Okay, remember mode 2 is best for round shapes, and if you select mode 2, it should always work. Okay, let's pick the colors here. Let's start with the darker color, perhaps, and then go with the lighter color, this one in the center, and then finish it off by choosing this one. And I believe I'll go with a darker one here. Remember, we have some creativity, the right for some creativity to create whatever we want. So right now let's make it larger, and let me show the background just to see. I think I'll go with 5 pixels. Okay, yeah, this should work. So I will call it done and press apply, and I think we can also add, or let me check here, I think we can add a shadow already. So let's do just that. So shadow, there we go, and then increase the value, and we're done. Okay, and we can now proceed by applying and then adding, or rather first make it the same size as the canvas, and then apply a mirror effect, just like that. Select the horizontal setting here, and then press apply all, because we won't need to tweak it anymore. So it's done. We can call it done and proceed. Let's show the reference again and see what we have here. So I think I'll start creating these concentric circles on the outside, and I'll start with the bigger one, this one here, by adding an image, putting it on the top left corner and pressing generate. And here I will change the type to circle, and there we go. And now we can increase the line width. So this is going to be very large, and then increase the radius until we have 466 here, which is the canvas size. Okay, so keep that in mind. Oh, and to achieve the right number, the even number here, you should have even numbers here on the line width. Let me show you. So it's 76, which is an even number. Let's increase by 1, and you'll notice that it went from 450 to 452. So it will increment in values of 2. So let's proceed until we have a 466 value there. I believe this is too much for the line width, so let's make it thinner. And there we go. And now we can increase the radius again. Oh, and this should be an even number, remember. And 78 is too much, so let's go with 68. And then increase. And there we go. I think we have a perfect value for this, and I'll go with it. So, you know what? I'm not going to apply a gradient afterwards. I'm gonna create the gradient straight away. So let's pick these colors here, right there, and then finish it off with this one. And let's add it to the favorites here. We might need it afterwards, so there we go. This is, I believe this is perfect. This will work. Okay, so we have this. Let's create the other one. So the same process, image, left, top left corner, and generate, switch to circle, and this should be thinner. So we went with a 68, I think. So I'll go with 60, or rather 54, just like that. And now we'll increase the radius and see what that makes for us. So 54 is too much. Let's go with 50. And this is absolutely perfect. Okay, this one is also done, so we can proceed and by heading the next one. So image, and you'll notice that we have 1, 2, and 3. This is just a bevel effect. So okay, so I think these are 3 layers. Okay, and that's what I'm going for. 3 layers. So we made the first one. Let's take care of the second. Press generate. Put it on the top left corner. Switch to circle, and then increase the line width. Last time we went with 50, I think. So now we'll go with, let me see here, maybe 46. Now let's increase the radius. And 46 is clearly too much. Let's go with 42. And let me see here. Yeah, it's still too much. Let's go with 40. And I believe this will work, so we'll call it done and proceed. So, and let's go for the last one. So let's have an image, top left corner, generate, circle, or rather circle, not dial. And so we went with 40, I think. So this time I'll go with, I don't know, 36 or 34. Okay. And let's hide this one because otherwise we can see anything. So increase the radius. And there we go. I think we're done. And now let's show all the other layers. And right now we have a lot of layers here, but you can't see them because they have exactly the same gradient. So to make them more obvious, I will apply a shadow effect. So let's go in here and add a shadow. Shadow, increase it to like 5, and there we go. And now we can simply use the last one, apply this one, shadow, and last but not least, this one, last, and shadow. And if we hide the guidelines, you'll see what we have here. Basically, we can now stand, or rather distinguish between the layers, because we have that shadow effect that tells you that you have several layers one over the other. Okay, so we can now proceed, and by looking at the reference image, I can see that this bottommost layer has an indentation, so it is cut by these circles here, and we can create this by first choosing and enabling the circle and taking a look at it, and then realizing that we need to cut it. Okay, so what we can use to cut it is using one of these circles. And now I remember that I apply the effects, and now we can't use it anymore. But we can create a specific circle just for this. And for that, I'm just going to add an image, press generate, and then tweak the width and height. So I'll make it, I don't know, 160 by 160, and then I'll make it a circle, just like that. Okay. And now let's zoom out, and I want to center it vertically in the middle. Okay. And now let's push it to the left. And I believe the circle has to be larger, I guess, because I'm not sure this is centered according to this circle here. So I'll add an opacity effect just to see. So let me see. Okay, so if we move it to the right to be exactly centered according to that circle there, you'll see that we might need to make it larger. So 160, 12, let's go with 164 by 164, and then make it a circle. There we go. And now we can try to center it right there, and I believe this is centered. Yeah, this will work. Okay, we can now remove the opacity effect, so delete it, and we can simply just remove this image from this one. Okay, so all I have to do now is go into this one we created and press subtract, and there we go. We have that cutout we needed. But the problem is this side is not cut as this one. Okay, so we need to symmetrize the image, and for that we have of course the mirror effect. So let's choose it and press the horizontal option, and there we go. All done. Apply, and we can now show all the watch face, the whole of the watch face, and yeah, I believe this will work perfectly. I think that this background image is a little bit on the light side, and I might add a brightness effect and lower it just a little bit. Something like that. For now, I'll then tweak it better. Okay, so this is now done, but we need to apply a shadow effect to this one too. So let's go and add a shadow. There we go, and make it, I don't know, 5 or 6, and this should work perfectly. And yes, we can now proceed. So remember to lock all the layers when you have a finished layer. Okay, so let's hide all the layers and show the reference, and I'll be creating this shape here. Okay, this one here. So let's select the topmost layer here and add an image. So now I'm going to generate, because we only need a square image to create this. So I'll try and match the width and height. Let's go with 20 perhaps, or rather 22, I guess. Let me zoom in here. Oh, and by the way, when when creating this kind of stuff, you should always enable the guidelines, because that way you'll know where the middle of the watch face is. And if you take a look here and look closely, it wasn't centered. So we need to move it just a little bit or make it larger. to be the same width on the left and on the right. And right now, I think we need to increase it by 1. So let's make it 23, okay? And once this is done, let's set the height to something like 30. And there we go. So this is now done. I just need to, tweak the gradient. So let's select the gradient, and here I'm going to pick the color on the bottommost part, and then pick the part on the middle, or the color, I mean, right there, and finally go and pick the topmost color. And there we go. Now we need to create this, it almost looks like it has a line, a darker line there, okay? So we need to recreate that, and for that I'm going to add one control point here and another here to make that transition harsher. So I believe this could be a little bit lighter, something like that, and this one should be harsher. So that way we'll have that line you see there, okay? And this might have to be moved downwards. Okay, so let's show the element, and there we go. Now you see that it's not located in the same spot. We need to move it slightly downwards, and for that all we have to do is just do this like that, and this should work. Okay, so now let's create another image, because we need to create this innermost rectangle here, the slider part of the element. So right now I am going to press generate, and we have the image here, and let's move it up, and here I am going to place it, and we know it was, I think, 22, so this one has to be much smaller, something like 14 width, or rather less. Okay, and remember, we're looking at the middle guideline here, so try and keep the things, centered. Now let's make it taller just by doing that, and lock it, hide it, and then edit the gradient. So here I need to pick all these colors right there, and this one will be the middle one. So there we go. And now finish this right there, and I believe this should be almost perfect. Yeah, I like it. Okay, we have those two elements, and I believe I should make this better by adding a let me see here, a inner shadow. So inner shadow, and instead of using black for the inner shadow, I'm going to use white, or rather a lighter shade of gray. Okay, so and then decrease the blur, make it very slight, something like that. And now we can decrease the opacity of the color. There we go. So, and this one needs a shadow, I believe. So let's add a shadow right there. And yeah, I believe this is perfect. So now we can merge these two. So add, and now let's add a shadow to this one. So the merged one didn't have a shadow. So let's add it right there, and okay, I think this will work. If we zoom out, you can see already we have a very good result. Let's show all the other layers and see what we have here. I think this will work. This shadow amount will work. So let's press apply all, and then let's crop to canvas. So make it the same size as the canvas. And now we need to replicate this image all around the watch, okay? And how do you do that? Well, you go into the effects, the image effects, and select a ray rotation, and insert 12 on the amount, and had a 30 degrees rotation at each cycle. So 30, and there we go. All done. How great is that? So we have this image finished, but we need to delete these two. If you take a look at the reference, it doesn't have images here, those images, okay? So we can go in there and simply select edit image and select the eraser tool and, increase the radius and just delete it. Delete those two, okay? So this is done, save, and voila, it's all done. We can now proceed and add perhaps these marks all around the watch, these here. So I'll be doing those very quickly. So image and generate and select the dial, select a hours 12 template here, and now I'll try to position it more or less in here. So it's on the 50. Let's make the same on the X coordinate. I will disable the widgets here and enable the minutes marks right here. Okay. So let's increase the radius, and we know it's located on the 50. Okay, here on the X coordinate. So 50 times 2, it's 100. So these two here and here have 100. So this, for the image to be square, should be 366, which is the watch canvas minus depth 100 pixels. So let's do that. 366, and there we go. Let me just take a look here and see if this is correct, and I believe it is. Okay, we can work with it. Let's hide everything else but the new image and the reference. Now we need to make these marks a little bit inwards, just like that, and then increase the length, just like that. Make them thicker, so 2 pixels, and go with a darker color. So I'll pick one of these in here and see how it looks. So yeah, I believe this will work. Let's show everything. Yeah, I believe this is perfect. We can now proceed. Let's not waste more time with this. And if you notice, we have to delete some of these marks. Let's show only the reference. So if you take a look here, we only have one here and one here, same on the other side, and these have circles instead of those marks, so I also need to delete them. So let's do that. Okay, let's press edit, or rather disable the generate form, and then press edit image. And now we'll change into the eraser tool, and let's start by deleting these that are above the hour marks. So this one, this one, this one, and so on until you're on the other side. But I think we can take care of these two. There we go. So this one, only 3 to go, and voila, all is done. But now we need to account for those circles, and for that we need to delete these two, these two here, and finally these, and press save. And now if we hide everything but the marks and the reference, you'll see this is absolutely perfect. Okay, so we can now proceed and make those circles. These circles next to the minute marks, and this is very easy. Again, you just add an image and press generate and make it small, something like 10 by 10. I think I'll go with a smaller image. Let's go with 8. There we go. And now make it a sphere. And yes, I believe the size is correct, but we need to edit the the gradients. So let's pick the colors here. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect because this element is so tiny, it shouldn't matter. Okay, it will look like a simple circle there, and you won't even notice the difference in color. I guess you won't. So, okay, this is now done. I'll invert it and set it to sphere. And this is now done. We can now place it right there. And okay, and now we duplicate and move it right there, and duplicate and move it. Okay, so let's try and match perfectly the location. I believe this one could go just 1 pixel down. And okay, this is now done. We can now merge all the three, had, and we have the three circles that we can now copy onto the other side and to the bottom. And the best way to do that is just simply crop the canvas and add a mirror effect. So mirror, and by the way, let me enable all the layers just so you can see what happens. So we have the mirror effect. Let's press horizontal, and there you go, and vertical, and there we go, all done. And we can press apply all and proceed with this watch face, and it's coming along quite nicely, I would say. Let's lock all the layers, hide everything but the reference, and now I'll be adding these all around. So these numbers here, and for that I'm going to add an image as usual, and select generate, put it on the top left and select dial. Okay, so here on the template select hours 12 and increase the radius or the size to 466. Okay, so it's the same size as the canvas. And now we need to find a font that will fit these numbers more or less. I mean, they don't have to be exactly the same. I believe this is Russo 1, but I'll do some more testing. First make them bigger and pull them up. Okay, there you go. And now I need to change these numbers because they're pointing at minutes, not hours. So here is 0, 0, then 05, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55. There you go. All done. And we can now, if you notice, the numbers are rotating all around. So we need to do the same to our image. And for that you have this this button here. Just click it, and there you go. It is now rotating all around. I think we can make it a little bit, you know, outwards, and I think this will work. And yeah, I think I like them. Okay, let's use them. And we now have this, but if you notice, the reference has some different colors here. And we'll be addressing that in just a minute because we need to create these marks here. Okay, so for that we just had an image. And by the way, remember to always lock the finished layers. This is very important, otherwise they will get in the way. So select draw vector, and now just click and click, and I'll make it the same width. I believe this will do, and I'll use a cap or a square tip, just like that. Okay, and save, and that is now done. All we need to do now, since this is the same size as the watch canvas, we can simply apply an array rotation and make it 2 and increase the degrees. And I believe it's 6. And yes, there we go. We can now apply, and it's still the same size as the watch canvas. So now we apply the array rotation again and make it 12. and then increase 30 degrees each time. And there you go. We have a copy all around. We can now apply and merge it with the numbers right there. Okay, so let's do that. Add. And we now need to change the color, to be this color, this pink and white color. And for that, we can simply add a gradient effect. So let's add a gradient. And here I am going to sample that color, this pink color. There we go. And here it will be white. Okay. So now I need to change it into a radial or a conical gradient. And I need it to be a pink on the top. Okay. So let's push the white into the center and then select the pink color and click on the other side. And now you see it's connecting correctly. So everything is pink on the top. Now I need to mark this separation because from here it becomes pink, then it gets here and it becomes white. So we need to replicate that. So select the white control point and press here, okay? And select the pink control point and click here. This way we have a clear separation between the colors. And now we can fine tune it and make it more crisp. Just like that, okay? So we need to make the same thing on the other side. So select the white color and create a dot there, okay? And we can see that, now let me see here. Oh dear, I'm going to save this gradient, but I shouldn't apply it first because we still need to add this lettering here, the chronograph lettering. So I'll be creating the gradient, but I won't be applying it just yet, okay? So yeah, let's delete that one and pull it to the left. Oh dear, something happened here. Now let me copy this and paste. There we go. So the white needs to be bigger. So let's increase it. And, okay. Now let's make this transition crisper. Just like that and like that. A little bit to the left. Oops. Going over the 50. We don't want that. Okay. So okay, this can be a little fiddly, but we can tweak it later. So I think this will work for now. I will save this gradient here, but then I'll just delete it. I'll delete it for now because I'm not applying it just yet. First, we need to delete this part of the image. So let's go into the edit image here, select the eraser, and simply delete everything between the 50 and the 00. Okay, so this is done, save. And now let's add this text here. And for that, we can use the artistic text here and just enter chronograph. Okay, and there we go. Chrono, oh dear, okay, now it's correct. And we'll change it to Russo1 regular, and we'll place it on the top left and make it round text. Okay. So now let's increase the radius. And I think I'll place it on the 10, on the Y and X coordinates. Something like that. And now we need to make it start here. And you can tweak the start angle. And now we need to make it smaller. So make the font smaller here. And now tweak the start angle again. And make the font smaller once again. And I believe this is perfect. Yes, but it has to start later, I guess, or maybe not. Let me see one thing. So we have 10, 10, 20, 10 times 2, 20. So it should be 446, and it's 432. So let's increase the radius right there. Okay, and now let's tweak the start angle. And I believe this should be perfect. And there you go. It's absolutely perfect. We can now convert it into an image and merge it with this one. Okay, so add. And now we can apply that gradient effect. So let's go into the gradients and select that gradient we saved. And somehow, okay, we'll have to tweak it. I thought this would be saved correctly, but it's not. I'm sorry. Let's hide everything else but this text here, and now let's tweak the gradient. So okay, that starts there, so let's try and make it work, something like that. There you go. And now we can tweak this one. To move the white one to the left. The white one. As I said, this can be a little bit fiddly, but it's an easy way to create this kind of effect without having to resort to Photoshop or GIMP or other design software. And there we go. It is done, and I think it is very good considering what we had in the reference. Okay, so now we can proceed, I guess. We'll take care now of the Lunar face. This widget here, you see here. So you can see that it has some sort of indentation, and we'll try to mimic that on our watch face. So for that, I'm going to add a image, and on this image I'm going to press generate, and let's hide everything else but the current image and the placeholder, and I'll put it there and try to match the size. So let's hide the border by locking the layer, and let's try and position it in the right place, and then resize it. And there we go. Now something like that. So let's go with 44 by 44, and let's make it a sphere as usual. And now let's hide it, and we'll try to replicate this gradient you see here. So let me see here. So let's apply a gradient, and with this gradient I am going to select these two colors, so this and this. Okay, so we have these two different colors that we'll be using to create that illusion of a shadow or a highlight on each side. And I'll rotate the gradient like this, so something like that. And now let's show everything else and see what we have here. I might instead just sample the color we're using here. So there we go. This is exactly what we want. So we can still rotate it manually if we need here. So come in here and just rotate and try to replicate the reference better, but I won't do that. I don't think it's necessary. So let's advance, and now I will, or rather I was going to add a black background, but I might not need it, but I'll do it anyway. So I'll press generate. Let's go and get that black color. I think we have a black color somewhere. Let's create one. There you go. And now let's make it, I don't know, 40. It's too small. So now we need to hide everything else. Take a look at the reference. Okay. Remember, always try to go with even numbers here. It will make your life easier. Now let's make it a sphere and then hide everything else. So I guess we could make it larger. So let's go with the 34 and make it a sphere. Let me see here. Okay, this might work, I guess. And yes, it will work. Okay, so now we can merge these two. So go ahead and click add, and we added it and it's done. But now we need to start adding some data on our watch face, and the first one will be the lunar face. So go ahead and add a container and then select the data type lunar face. And now we'll add an image set it to lunar face, and load from the library. On the library we have a set of eight images with the moon faces. But first you need to set the container location. So I'm going to set it here. This is usually used by the watch so that you can click it and the watch will take you into the app, the correspondent app. In this case, Lunar Face doesn't have an app, I think. So, okay. Let's make it larger, and there we go. I think we have, yeah, it's perfect. Let's zoom out, and now we have the moon right there. Okay, so we can now proceed. I think this black border around will be enough. Let me see here, and yes, I think it works. So now I want to replicate this on the other side. And this is very easy. As usual, I just crop the canvas and apply a mirror effect. So let's go and select mirror, horizontal, and done. Okay, and apply all. And here I'll put the weather. So let's add another container, select the weather data type here, and let's set the container location and size. And this one will be useful because when you click this area, the watch will take you into the weather app on the watch. And now we can lock it and add a image set. And I'll go with the weather 11 images, okay? And let's choose some from the library. I could also generate it on Facemaker. Facemaker has a few or at least two sets of icon fonts that will create the icons for you, and I can show you if I press generate. There you go, and you could set the size, and there you go. So these are the icons you can generate, and you know what? I think I'm going with this. Let me just set some lighter color, and yes, I believe this will work. Make it smaller, and remember, whenever you're generating images on Facemaker, do it down here. Don't resize the widget up here, okay? So let's place it there. Remember, this is the weather information and the current state of the weather. Now let's see how it looks. It needs to be smaller, I think. There. Well, you know, this is a small space, but it should be enough to convey the information. So there we go. The weather is there, and this is done. And we can now proceed. Let's add those images here on these circles. And this was kind of hard to find a way to do it because the problem is these sectors here and here are different sizes from the ones up here. And well, this was a problem because since they're different, I couldn't create one and then replicate it all around. I had to do this in using another method, and let me show you what this method is. Let's add an image, press generate, and switch to circle. Okay, and we have this circle, and I'm going to make it slightly smaller, something like that, and make the radius smaller too. And what we're trying to do is replicate that circle you see there. Let me just resize it, and let me see how it looks with a true circle behind. So I guess this is, yeah, I think this will work. Perhaps go with 64. No, let's go with 65, and this is perfect. Okay, so let's say we have this. Okay, so let me hide everything and show only the circle and the reference. So you'll see that this circle is different from this one, because this one only occupies half a circle, and this one, I don't know, 3/4 of a circle. So first I'm going to tweak this and make it for this one, okay, and create it for this one here. And for that, I might go with 4. And yes, I believe 4 should be better. Let me take a look now. And yes, it works. So let's revert the selection. So only the reference and the circle. And I'm going to set the start angle to start here and end here. So let's go in here and set that up. So minus, I don't know, 160 to 160. Yeah, it's way too much. So let's make it smaller, and on this side higher. So something like this should work, I guess. You can see that the original design isn't correct. So it starts on minus 140 and ends on 139. I'm not quite sure why, but the designer should be able to, the original designer should be able to reply better to this question. But it doesn't really matter. We're just trying to replicate more or less this design, and you won't even notice. So right now I am going to create these two marks here. Okay, so let's add a new image and go and draw vector. And here I am going to create this shape. So start by clicking here, go all the way to here, and now all the way down here. And now we can tweak this shape and make it look like the one on the design. So something like that should work, and we can now fill it and then save. And we have that shape. Okay, so I'm going to crop the content, and you can see it's the size, the exact size of the shape only. I am going to duplicate it and then apply a vertical, a flip vertical. Okay, and apply it. Okay, so now let's push it up, and now you see what we have here. So we have those two shapes we need, and now we can simply replicate it and put it all around the image. Okay, so we can do it this way. I mean, I could now just simply duplicate, put it here, rotate it, but it wouldn't be perfect. At least I think it wouldn't. So I want to do something instead. I'm going to grab this image here of the circle, and I'm gonna put it above, okay, and hide that one. So we don't need it for now. Let's hide everything else. And here I am going to edit image, and I'm going to delete all the content, just like that, and delete everything. Okay, I want an empty image, but this empty image is exactly the radius of the circle. And what we can do now is duplicate this empty image and use this first one and merge it with this. Okay, so let's do that. Add, and there we go. And now go and grab this one, put it here, and then merge it with the other one. So this one here. I guess no, it's not this one. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not quite sure what happened, but I think I lost one of the images. I might have deleted it. Okay, no problem. We have this, this one is created, so we can simply duplicate it, and then we can simply apply a flip horizontal. So flip horizontal and apply all. Okay, so now we have these two that we can now simply duplicate and then just rotate. Okay, we can, oops, sorry. Now let's put it on the same spot, so 73, 166, 73, there you go. We can do it here for better. Oh dear, I don't think this is in the right place. Let me just check here. And it's not in the right place. Okay, no problem. I'm so sorry, let me just check what the hell I'm doing here, because quite frankly I think, oh okay, somehow I duplicated it, and okay, that's not a problem. We can select this one and go and start rotating it. Okay, so it's on spot right there, and duplicate. Keep rotating, duplicate, keep rotating, and we just need that one there, duplicate, put it here, and I think one more is in order. No, just that one. Okay, so now let's go back into this one, and this one we can also clone and start rotating it. Oh no, it's not this one. It's yeah, it's like this. Okay, so done, duplicate, done, duplicate, and done, and finally duplicate, and done. Okay, so let me see here. I think I'm missing some. Indeed, and indeed I am. So okay, so let's take this one all the way there, and yeah, and I still need one more. So. And this will finish this, I guess. We still need, let me see here. Yeah, we can duplicate this one and rotate it all the way down here. And you know, this might be a little tedious, but it's great. Well, it's not this one. I'm sorry. So it has to be that one there. Let me see here. There you go. It's this one. So this is a nice, a nice practice for you to learn how to use the Facemaker tools. At first, it might be or look a little daunting, but once you get used to this, it's actually very easy. So now this is done, and I guess we could start merging all these layers and I guess I will do it right now. So add and add and add, and all the way up until we have, and I'm preparing a new dialog that when you right click, you can select several layers, and then you could right click and select merge, and this will save you a lot of work. It's just not ready yet, so yeah. So I guess they're all merged. Okay, this is ready now for us to merge with the circle. But I first need to take care of something. So you'll notice that the circles are separated. Okay, so we need something to cut all those the circle in those places. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll enable the main circle, and we can show these shapes too. And now I'll add an image, and here I'll press generate, and I don't know, maybe 3 height, and put it here. And now we can use this. Element to remove all the information from all those pixels that we don't need. Okay, let's duplicate and rotate. I don't know how many we need, but we'll soon know. Something like this. Okay, and now duplicate, and duplicate, and this should be almost done. There we go. Now we have all these shapes that we can merge. Okay, so let's merge them. Add and add. And there we go. We have all this, and we can now remove from this one. So let's go ahead and click subtract. And there we go. So this might need a little tweaking. You might have noticed that we still have some pixels there, and we can do it real quickly. So just go in here and select edit image. And we could have done this from the start, but I prefer to do it this way because it produces better results, or in theory it should. So okay, it's deleted, and I think we're done. So save, and we can now merge all these. So add, and there we go. We have the image we needed, and now we can simply crop it to content. Just like that, okay? And for now, I am going to duplicate it and put it on the other side too. So drag it on the x-axis, and I could pick it up by hand and place it there, but you know. Okay, so this is done. I guess perhaps 1 pixel to the left, and there you go. And we now have this shape that we can use. So what we're gonna do with it is we need a gradient that will make this one pink and the other ones gray. So this is easy, kind of easy to achieve. All we need to do here is add or rather, I think I cut it to the shape, and I did. God damn. So first I need to apply a crop. So let's add a crop, and we need to increase it by 15 on the height. Let's take a look here. Yeah, this one is done. And now let's do the same here, last crop. And now you'll see that this is absolutely square, and this is what we want, okay? So apply all, and now I am going to add a gradient. And here on the gradient, I will try to, I may use this one here, because since this is already done, and yeah, let's use it. Okay, so all we need to do is go on to the other side, and this is the other way around. This one is different. Okay, no problem. What we can do is remove all these that we don't need, and here I am going to sample this one, and instead of white, I am going to make it gray, but a lighter gray, something like this. Copy the color and then paste it here. There we go. And now we need to invert these values. So the pink needs to go inside and the gray outside. That's it. Okay. So now that we have the gray, we can add 2 more points to constrain the pink. And all we need to do now is, define where the pink starts and ends. So something like that. Then there you go. And now, oops, I think I went a little bit too far. Sorry. And there you go. And now this one. And it's done. So, yeah, I think this will work. Okay, let's add this gradient to the favorites and save. Okay, so this one is done, I guess. It looks cool, I think. So now let's take care of this one. So this one is the same as that one, but without these here. So all we need to do is go and edit image, switch to the eraser, and just delete this part we don't need. So this one and this one. Okay, and save and done. And now we need to do is add a gradient. So let's go and get that gradient. Not this one, but this one. Okay, and we need to set the first one. So now all we need to do is edit the where it starts and when it ends. So let's try and tweak this. As I said before, this can be a little fiddly, but you'll get used to it, I'm sure. Okay, this should work already. Don't need to tweak it more than it is. Perhaps just a tad the pink color here, because this transition is very tight. Just like that, and yeah, this should work. Okay, we can now proceed and let's apply the gradient. One less effect to worry about, and now it's done. Okay, so now let's show the reference and see what we're still missing. So we can add these 2 screws down here, and this is easy. Let's add an image, go into the library, and on the elements class category, you have screws. There we go. So I load this one because it seems to be the most similar, I guess. And let's make it the same size, more or less. So something like that. Okay, and it needs to be darker. So let's add a brightness effect and lower the brightness as much as we need. So let me compare to our own design here, and I believe that this will work. Okay, and we now need that. You'll notice that on the reference behind the screw we have some sort of lighter section. I can't really make out what it is, so I'll try to do something that looks similar. So press generate, and let's make it small, something like this. And it might need to be larger, but we'll soon see. So let's zoom in, put it beneath the screw head, and now let's press generate again. Oh dear, and let's make it 14. So there we go. We can now increase it. So 20. And let's try and place it better. So something like that, and 21 should be just perfect. Okay, now let's make it a sphere. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now we can have a gradient. Where is the gradient? You know, you can search for the effect you want. You don't have to do like me, but yeah, makes no sense. So now let's try and get a nice gradient here. Something like this, and this color, make it a little bit darker. And there we go. And now we can add a little shadow, perhaps. Let's go with 2, and add a shadow to the screw head too. So let's add a shadow here, and there we go. And I think this will work just fine. Okay, so now we can merge these two. So add, and there you go. We need exactly another one like this on the other side, but we can do 2 things. Or I usually prefer to duplicate and then move it manually, and we're going to do that because I want to rotate it. Okay, so let's clone and then just drag it and put it there. Let me see where it is. When 314, so 314. Okay, the position seems more or less correct, I guess. And just one more pixel. And there we go. We can now lock and proceed with our watch face. And oh yes, I said I wanted to rotate it because it has to look kind of different. So let's rotate it just like that. Okay, and done. We can now proceed and try to finish this watch face because this video is getting too long. Let's turn on the reference, and I need the battery and the steps icon. So that is easy. Let's go into the library, stencils, and load one of these. I'm going with this one. Resize it, and then place it, and done. And now we need a let me see here, let's use a fill color and just sample this gray here, and done. Okay, so now the steps. So the steps icon, we also have some for those. And let me see here, steps, let's use this one. Resize it, place it, and then we'll just copy the effect from that one. So let's go here and select copy from battery, and done. If we enable the rest of the layers, you can see perhaps we could increase just a tad this one. Otherwise this won't be visible. Okay, we can lock both and proceed. Okay. Yeah, this looks great. Just a slight adjustment here and there. And there we go. We can now proceed. So we're getting to a point where we'll need to create the hands. The hands are always complicated because they require a lot of images to create and to make them look good. But so for now, I'm going to take care of this digital clock here. And we need a placeholder. If you take a look at the reference, you'll see that behind the digits, we have a darker version of those digits. Okay, so we need to create that, and that will be behind the true hours and minutes. And for that, I am going to use not an image, but rather a text artistic. There we go. And here I'll insert 8. Okay, let's create an 8. And I need to choose that font, and I believe we have a similar font, which is called Digital 7 Regular. There we go. It's this one. And now let's increase the size and try to match the size of the reference. This is way too big, so let's make it smaller. Okay, maybe 62. It doesn't really matter. Let's go with 60 perhaps. And yeah, that is it. Okay, this is perfect. All we need now is to sample that color there, that dark gray. Sample it. And there we go. And save it to the favorites. You never know. So now that we have this, we can simply turn it into an image. So convert to image and crop the content. This way the image gets optimized, okay? So let's put it there. And now we'll create a placeholder for the numbers of the hours and minutes. And this will be in the background of the numbers, okay? So, okay, let's place this and then clone and move it to the right. Clone, move it to, or rather, we don't need that. I guess we can already just simply merge these two. Let me just see if they're not too close. And I think we can, yeah, at least one. And let me enable the guidelines here so I can see better where the center of the watch face is, because we'll have the two dots here separating the hours and the minutes, and I think this is perfect like this. So let's add, and they're merged now, and now we can simply clone and push it to the side, just like that. Okay, so we can now lock it, and let's take a look, and it looks good, I guess. So now let's create the numbers for the hours and minutes. So I added a time main container, and here I am going to add a image set and select hours first digit and press generate. You can't see it because it's up here. Now we need to get a lighter color. So let's try and choose, yeah, I think this one will work perfectly. And you'll notice that this is the same size as the placeholder we created, because the Facemaker remembers the last font settings you used. Okay, so now that we have this, you should take one thing into consideration. When this turns to 1, you'll see that this is centered, and you don't want that. You want it to be here. So for that, you have to set the orientation here, or rather the alignment. So there we go. Now it is perfect, aligned to the right, and you can see how it will look. 0, 1, and 2. Just perfect. Okay, so now that we have this, we can simply duplicate and set the data type to hours second digit and press generate. Okay, don't forget to press generate, because the hours second digit has more numbers. It has 10 than the hours first digit. Okay, so okay, this was correctly created, so it's aligned to the right, and you can see here that it works perfectly. So we can now proceed. So the hours are done, and we can now just simply duplicate, switch the data type to minutes first digit and press generate. There we go. And now place it. And finally, just duplicate and set the data type to minutes second digit and press generate. And we have all the numbers for the hours and minutes. But now we'll do something more. So now that we have this, we can simply press preview. So you can see that the hours are correct. So exactly like in my computer. Okay, so this is correct, but the images are not optimized. You need to optimize them so they are smaller. You see they have a lot of empty pixels above and below. So let's go onto each one of them and press crop the content. There we go. Crop the content, and finally crop the content. And we can now just simply lock them and forget about them because they are done. And we can press preview and you see that this is working perfectly. Now we need those two dots you usually see between the hours and minutes, and I'm going to add here on the background, I'm going to add a text artistic. And we could have done that before, but I forgot. So let's put it here. There you go. So this should be fine, I guess. And I'm gonna leave it white, okay? I'll leave it with the white color because I need to create here a image set for the seconds. So seconds, second digit, and press generate. But we're not going to use numbers, okay? You have this little button for the second digit. You have this little button which says blinking dots. And if you click it, Facemaker will create blinking dots that when you press preview, you'll see what they do. So they appear and disappear 1 second after the other, okay? So this is what we want to put here. And first let's crop the content as usual. And now I can come in here in this one and first convert to image, crop the content, go into the effects and add a fill color. And now we'll sample that dark gray color of the placeholder, and voila, all is done. We can now just simply place this here and press play. It might need some tweaking. I mean, didn't put it in the right place, I guess, and just a little bit to the right, and the placeholder too. So, and there we go, simply perfect. And I believe this will work just fine. Okay, almost done here. We just need the hands and this AM PM indicator. Okay, so let's take care of this AM PM, but first we need this background here, this gray background. And for that, just add an image, press generate, and I'm going to try and get this gray color here. We could have well just created our own, but I like to stay faithful to the original designs. And okay, let's pull it down just like that. And now let's match the width and height. And almost done. Okay, and now the height. And as you can see in Facemaker, you can create just about any shape you need for just about anything on your watch face. You'll notice that the reference is round, so let's do that. Let's apply a rounded corners effect here and increase the radius, and this should work perfectly. So you can compare, it is perfect. And now the AM PM. So select the last layer here on the time and add image set and select the data type AM PM. And then press generate. Okay, so now we need to match more or less that font that is on the original design, but I know we can use the, now let me see here, I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one. You'll see that it's similar. Okay, now we need a black or near black color here. Yeah, there you go. And for this one here, which is the selected, state. So we want it to always be black, okay? So now let's make the font smaller and then place the AM PM here, and now we'll try to match the size. So something like this, and you can see that the font is absolutely on spot. I mean, it's perfect. Yeah, this will work. So AM, PM, oh, this is aligned to the right. Okay, let me align it to the center. And now, so 24 hours, AM and PM, okay? And it's working. Okay, so now it's the time for the worst things here. I think I'll take care of the numbers for the battery and the steps first, and then we'll tackle the hands. The hands will be hard work. So let's take care of these numbers here. Here on the widget main container had a container and set the data type to battery. There we go. And now we can place the container here so that when you press it, you'll go into the container app. And I don't think Huawei has one, but anyway, you should always set the container place, okay? The placement is important. So 140 by 140. Okay. And this is perfect. We can now lock it and then add an image combo. And here, for the image combo, we'll select battery and press generate. And here I am going to select another font. So because we selected that huge font, that Aero style, bold, extended for the AM PM, and now we need a thinner one and taller one, okay? So I believe I have Bebas Neue, or no, I don't. So, but I have others here, I think. Oh, this one, for example. Yeah, this one should be perfect. Let's choose something that is not perfect white and see how this looks. So, well, as I said, we have some liberty of choosing some of the things on our design. Of course, we're basing it on another, but you can do it your way, I guess. So this is more or less centered, I guess. And the battery is done. And now we can add another container and set it to 140 by 140, which is the size we gave to the other one. And it should fit here perfectly. And there we go. Yes, okay. So this is now done, and we can lock it and add, sorry, I have to set the data type. Otherwise, you can only add custom widgets, which I talked about in another video on this channel. You can go and search for it, which is how to use containers, watchface containers. Okay, this one is the steps. So let's set the data type to steps. This one here, and now we can add an image combo. Select the steps data type and press generate. And there we go. Now we need it to be center aligned. So let's center it and place it. And if we show all the layers now, you'll see that. Let me just see if they're on the same coordinates, and they are 269, 269. Okay. So let's press play and see what we have here. And I would say this is a very, very good result up until now, wouldn't you say? So now let's tackle the hands. I've been avoiding it during all this video, and yeah, we now have to tackle it, and there's no way around it. So let's do it. I think, I mean, doing the hands is kind of fun. It can get kind of fun. Let's hide all the layers and show the reference. So I'll start by creating this one, the smaller one, okay? And you can see that we have it here, and it's rotated to the right, 90 degrees to the right. So what I'll do here is, no, not this one, sorry. I'll go into the reference here and I'll move the reference so that the end is on the center. Like that. And then I will rotate it -90. Now it will go out of the center, right there. But we can now just simply pick it up and now pull it up. So basically what you want to do is put the reference end on the middle of the watch canvas, okay? And then you can draw above it and use it as a reference. So I'm going to create this circle here. So generate and try to guess the that radius there, and I believe 30 is too much. So what you can do, what I usually do is I place the shape there and then I try to match the height and the width. Now here it is kind of difficult. So let's say 26, but I'll go with yeah, I'll go with 27. 27, okay. Now let's pull it to the left just a little bit and make it a sphere, just like that. And I'm not quite sure, yeah, I think I have to go with 26 by 26 and then make it a sphere. And now we can move it 1 pixel to the right and it will be centered. Okay, perfect. Now let's add another image and let's use the draw vector. So one click here, another one here, and I think we need to tweak this. There you go. Another one there, and just go up past the center guideline, and now put one down here, just like that, and now you can fill, just like that, okay? Then save, and done. All we need to do now is apply a mirror effect, horizontal mirror effect, and this is now done. If we show the, well, I think it could be just a little thicker on the bottom, and we can take care of that very easily. So we still have the vector here. All we need to do is press Edit Vector and just push it just like that and tweak it. And I think this is now done. We can now save, and you'll see that now it looks much better, right? So, okay, I think we can merge this one. Now let me see here. We might need to tweak the location. Yeah, I guess this will work. Okay, let's merge these two. So hat, there we go. I am not going to, I'm going to apply a color here because we need to color it. And let me just take a look at the reference. Yeah, it has a pink sector there that we can recreate by adding a new image above. So I'll add a new image right there, so image, and here I am going to draw another vector, and I'll make it black this time because otherwise we can't really make it out of the reference image. So it's not this one, it's this one. Okay, so let's start and adding dots just like that, like this, and go past the center guideline, and then all the way down here and add a dot. We might need to, tweak the location just like that. Okay, so now we can enable the background and see what we have here, and I think this will work. Yeah, I think this is perfect. So let's fill it and save. Now this is filled, you just can't see it, okay, because the background is white also. So let's add a mirror effect, horizontal, and there we go. And now I am going to add a color fill. So fill color, and let's, I have to sample that pink color there, add it to the favorites, and there you go. So, okay. I think that a inner shadow is also in order. So I'm going to add it here, but this is way too much. And I need to remove some of the opacity of the black color. So something like that, okay? Something subtle. And okay, this looks perfect. Now I need this color here for the hand itself. So let's first crop the content, just like that, and add a fill color. Fill color, and now just sample that color, that gray color, right there. And now let's see what we have. Okay, we're almost there. Just hang on. We need this also, but first I'll also add a I think a inner shadow should work. Now let me see here, inner shadow, and set a dark gray or light gray, I mean, and set it to 1. And now lower the opacity of the effect. So something like this, just to hint some wear and tear around the hand, okay? And this is now done. All we need now is to add that center, that pivot image. And for that, we can, of course, create one by generating 20 by 20. This should be way too much, I guess. And indeed it is. So let me go back in here. And we don't need to generate now because it's large enough. We can simply modify it and make it a sphere. So, okay. Okay, this should work. Let's now add effects. So gradients. And this is, you know, the most boring hand to do because all the others will be much easier. They're much simpler hands. So we're almost done with this one. And a shadow, go with a light gray, just like that. And remove some of the opacity of the effect. And okay, and make it smaller, something like this. Okay, this is perfect, I guess. Just a little bit up and to the right, perhaps. No, let's skip it there. Okay, so now we have this, and we can simply clone it and move it to the center, just like that, and make it much smaller. So this will be the true pivot, the black dot in the center, okay? And here I can simply go and select a black gradient. Just like that, okay? So this is now done, and we can merge these two, or rather these three. So this one is the hand itself. Okay. And I believe we can also add a noise effect to it. So remember to experiment and see what gives you better results. In this case, you can see that with all these effects, I was able to achieve this. And I guess the result is good enough, at least for this watch face. So I'm going to crop it to content. And perhaps add a, let me see here, perhaps a shadow. And well, it's invisible. Yeah, this is invisible. You almost can't see it. So I guess, well, I'll leave it as is. And then we can merge all these three. So had and had. And there we go. We have this hand here made and ready to be used for these two. So how do we use it now? Because right now this is only an image. And I even put it on the time container while we'll need it on, on the widget main container. Now I moved it to the background, but we'll need it here. Here on the battery, I'll add a rotary. There we go. And now all we need to do is go back into the image and press this image preview and press Ctrl C or copy. And here on the rotary for the battery, I'll set the data type to battery and then Ctrl V. And there we go. Now we have the hand pasted onto the rotary. How great is that? So this is now done, and we can set the pivot, perhaps 13, and perhaps here. And I guess this is correct now. All we need to do now is set the start and end pivot and the angles, I mean. So the start angle will be here, so 136, and the end angle 136. And there we go. This is now done, and if we press preview, you'll see that it's working perfectly. Okay, so let's proceed and have the steps hand. So let's collapse the steps container and have a rotary, and we'll do the same thing we did before. So I'll move the rotary in here, and then click this image, click the image preview, Ctrl C, and then go back into the steps rotary and press, or rather first select the data type, select or click the image preview and press Ctrl V. And there we go. So this is now done. You just have to set the pivot and it will work. Okay, so I think it was 13 and 49. And oh yes, we need to set the start and end pivot, start and end angles, sorry. Something like that, so 85, 85. And this is all done. We just need the hours and minutes and seconds hands. And for now, I can just delete this one here, just like that, because we don't need it anymore. It's on there, okay? Oh, by the way, something you should have done since the beginning, which is to name your watch face. So I'll call it Shattered GT3 and press submit and then save it. So save as, and I'll save the project here on the desktop. And this you should always do when you start designing a watch face. Never in the middle or in the end, because something wrong might happen and I don't have the autosave enabled here. Okay, but you should enable the autosave, or at least save manually. And to save manually now, all you have to do is press Ctrl S, just like that, and it's saved. Okay, and now we can go ahead and finish this watch face by creating the hours, minutes, and seconds hand. Now, hopefully this shouldn't take long, so let's go ahead and hide all the layers we created and enable the background reference. Okay, let's try to reset it. There we go. And now what I usually do, I try to center the hand, the reference hand here, put it in vertical position. So let's start by rotating the reference image, just like that. and try to center it here. Because you know, this was a reference that I took from the internet, and it's not always centered. In this case, we had to move it 1 pixel, which is practically nothing. So, okay, we're ready now. I'm gonna add a image. We could design the hand straight into a rotary widget, but I prefer to do it this way, okay? Because the image widget is more versatile when it comes to merging and all that. So we'll design the watch hands using image widgets, okay? So to start with, let's generate. And I'm gonna try to make that inner circle from the pivot, and let's give it some width and height and try to match this Hauer's hand here. So what you can do is what I usually do is I try to match the width and height, and once I have something satisfactory, I simply make it a sphere, and there we go. By comparing the width and height of this circle, I can see that it might fit, but I'm going with something thicker. So I used a 29 by 29. I'm going with 31 by 31. There you go. And then the sphere, and you can see now that it fits much better to our purpose. I believe this is more like it. Okay, so now we need to make the hand itself, and for that I am going to simply add an image, and here I am going to draw a vector. And of course, you should, as usual, keep the guidelines visible, because they will help you, to design your hand. So let's create the necessary control points, something like this, and fill, and done. Okay, and now let's use a mirror effect, horizontal, and apply all. And that's all you need to do, actually. I mean, we have the basis for our hand here, and if I hide everything else, you can see that it's a sort of centered, I guess. So I believe we can merge them. So let me go ahead and add. And there you go. And this doesn't matter. I mean, this border, we had the difference in color, because now I am going to add effects. And that's all you need, actually. It's just a shape that you can later add effects. But first we need to crop the content. There we go. Because the effects will be applied to the whole image, and if it's 466 or the size of the watch canvas, it's harder to play with gradients and all that. So you should always crop the content, and then you know that the gradient will only be applied to this area, okay, to the useful area of the image. Okay, let's proceed. And we have this shape now, and I believe we have some sort of inner shape, this one here. And for that, I am going to add, you guessed it right, another image. And let's draw a vector again. You know, start adding points, and we can have a preview of the line here. So something like this. And now let's fill it and save. Okay, so this border, this black border, will be useful because when I unhide the background, you can see that this lower part here should be a little bit more to the left, so we can keep the width here, okay, on this side. So all I need to do now is just edit the vector and, you know, push it just slightly to the right, and perhaps move this one to the left, just to make it the same width. And there you go. This is more like it. And I believe this will work. So first let's add a mirror modifier. There we go. And add and apply. Okay, so this is now done. And we can now start applying effects. So basically this one needs a fill color, this inner color here. I don't think, no, I didn't crop it. So crop the content. And now let's add a fill color. And right now the widget is invisible, as you can see here, on purpose, because I need to see what's underneath it so I can sample the colors. So let's use the color picker, get that color, and now I'm going to add a inner shadow. So inner shadow, and perhaps pick the darkest gray we can find here, and maybe make it just a little bit more dark. And there we go. So I think this will work. I mean, for the purpose that this will work just fine. Okay, so we won't apply the effects because we still have another hand, the minutes hand, which is similar, only longer, to create. And we will need this, these effects, so we can apply them here too, and it will make our lives easier. So right now I'm not going to merge or apply effects. I'll leave it as is, but I might name so here hours, there you go, and then hours foreground or something like that. Okay, so now it's time for us to apply an effect to the hand itself, and this will make all the difference, as you will soon see. So I cropped the image mainly because the main effect I'm going to apply here is a gradient, and the gradient uses the useful part of the image, so the whole image, I mean. And if this was 466 by 466, this gradient would apply to the whole image, and it would be harder for you to tweak it. So this is why I usually crop it before I apply effects. So now I want to sample these colors here. So since we have that one there, and this is slightly on the green side, and I will change it to grayscale there. And now let's pick a lighter color on this side. So I want it to be, so you can notice a clear border between the lighter and the darker color. And for that we need to establish more points here. So I'm gonna add one for that one, and click this darker color, and then add a control point there. And immediately you see what we have here. We have that clear distinction between the two colors. But right now I think it's too harsh, so we need to make it smoother. And for that I'm going to choose this darker color on the border, and then I'll make it lighter. Okay, so this will allow you to create a sort of a 3D effect. And if I hide the guidelines, you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is what we were aiming for, exactly this, okay? So we have all this, and this should be enough for us to build now the minutes hand. So let's do that, okay? Let's hide these and lock them. Remember to lock the layers. I can never stress this enough because it will make your life much easier, okay? So now let's rotate in the opposite direction, just like that. And now we enable the guidelines because we need them. Okay, so this should work, I guess. So let's start adding images. So image, and generate, and then the other one was 31, I guess. So let's go with 25 for now and see what we have here. So I believe this is absolutely perfect. So let's go with 25 and let's make it a sphere. And there we go. If we unhide the hours hand, you'll see that this will fit the purpose because it's smaller than the hours hand, and this is what we want. So let's continue and and let's draw the hand itself. So let's zoom out. We need more space here, just like that. Add a new image, and then select draw vector and start drawing. So we need to draw this shape here, and this couldn't be simpler, I guess. So just add dots, and now I'm using the preview and keeping it snapped using Control Alt. Okay, so okay, now we have to come all the way down here, just like that, and now we can fill it and call it done, I guess. Let me see here. Okay, let's remove the fill because I think I went, no, this is perfect. Okay, so fill it and save. There we go. And now apply, as usual, a mirror effect, horizontal, and apply all. And that's basically it. I mean, now we need to center because right now, if you notice, this is not centered at all. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. So right now we need to center it, so push it to the left somewhat, something like this, and this should work. So now let's merge, and there we go. We have the basis for the minute and now we need that inside that this shape here. Okay, and for that I'm going to hide the main hand, just like that. Add a new image and then draw a vector. So draw vector and start drawing. Using the Alt key, I can preview where the vector will go. So now it seems correct, so let's fill it and save and apply a mirror modifier. So you can see how useful the mirror modifier is. I mean, I do everything with it, and it saves me a lot of time because replicating left to the right or top to the bottom is really useful. So okay, we have the body of the hand, and we have that foreground, that shape in the front. So here I am going to name this minutes. There you go, and minutes foreground, just like that. And now let me see here. Okay, now I need to copy the effects from these to these, and this is very easy. So we know this is called hours, so let's go into the effects, copy from hours. Oh, I forgot one thing. So remember what I told you about cropping to content? This is the problem if you don't do it. So let's crop the content first, and then, oops, not here. No, not this one, sorry. God damn it. So hours, there we go. Now it's perfect. And this one will copy from the hours FG, but first we need, you guessed it, we need to crop the content. But before, remember this, before you crop the content, you have to remove the mirror, because the mirror acts on the middle of the image and copies it into the opposite quadrant. Okay, so look what happens if I press crop to content. Now you see what happened, right? So it cropped the content, and now the mirror is acting upon that half of the image. and we don't want that. So let's crop the canvas again. So this is back to what it was, and let's apply the mirror effect, and then we can crop the content, and there you go. So let's go back into the effects and copy from our foreground. Okay, so I believe, well, I think we could tweak this better. I mean, on this one, since it's you know, less, it's more thin, the inner shadow is, you know, too overwhelming, or more overwhelming than on the hours end. So I'm not sure, perhaps I am going with a value of 2. And let me just lock the layer so I can see what we have here. So let's show the hours. Okay, and now let's see the minutes. Yeah, I guess they're more or less the same. So I might go with this. Yeah, okay, this is good enough, I guess. Let me just try one thing here. Let me add a border. I use the Mode 2, and I'll go with a gray, a dark gray color. Let me see if I have one here already. Perhaps this one. I believe this makes it stand out more, and perhaps it would be beneficial, I guess. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to remove this, and perhaps here I'm going with a darker color for the inner shadow. Something like that. Okay? And this will make it stand out more, for sure. The hours hand, on the other hand, yeah, I think I'll go with a darker color here, just like that, because it makes it pop. And there we go. Yeah, I believe this is good enough. So this, I'll call it done, and then I'll reset, or rather I'm going to rotate to the right now because we need to design the second hand. So enable the guidelines, and I'll try to center the hands right there. Hide these. And now, okay. It's not really important to be perfectly centered. I believe this is better. Yeah. Okay. So let's go and finish this. So now I'm going to generate the hand, and so it was, I think, 25. So I'll go with 19 by 19. Let's see what we have here. So maybe 21, and make it a sphere. And there you go. I believe this is exactly what we need. Okay. So, okay. Now I need to create that center, that pivot there. And we don't need to create more images. We can just use this one. So clone it, and then move it to the right, move it downwards, and then make it smaller. Just like that. And we need to apply a fill color. So let's go with a dark gray, something perhaps even darker, something like that. And we can now resize it, center it. Okay, and now duplicate again. And make it almost black. Oh, but this needs to be much smaller. So 1, 2, have here now? Maybe smaller. There we go. I think this is what we're aiming for. So here I'll add a few more effects. So inner shadow, make it you know, not so strong, but I believe this will work wonderfully. I'll just make it slightly more transparent. There we go. And okay, I believe this is almost done. It's only a matter of adding a, or rather not. First I need to design that the arm, of course. So let's go and add and draw a vector like that, and then let's go all the way up like that. We maybe can make it rounder here on the bottom, and now I'll try and finish this. This is actually a very simple hand, so this is why I said this wouldn't take long, but I believe this is taking longer than it should, because I sometimes I like to over-explain things, and yeah. So add the mirror, horizontal, and apply all. Now we can show the other images. So this one and this one and this one. Okay. So I believe this is centered. Let me hide the reference image. And there we go. It's I think this is almost perfect result. And this will do just nicely, I guess. Let me just start merging things here. So this with this one, and now we'll crop the content just like that, and then apply, or rather copy from ours. There we go. But you know what? I think I am going with a different color. I think I will do this color here. So let's edit the gradient. And let's choose a, you know, some simple gradient here, and let's go with a pink second hand. Okay, I think it will be better because it will stand out just a little bit more. Okay, so here we need a darker version, something like that, and then since we have that, we can simply add one there, and now add one here. And try to establish that harsher transition here, just like that. Okay, and now this one will make it slightly you know, lighter, and voila, I think this is done and it will fit our purpose. Now we have something we need to do here. So this one, we need to add a shadow effect. So going to add a shadow. There we go. It can be this one value on the blur. Let me try to increase it. Yeah, this might work better. I'm not really sure, because you know, these are details that you almost won't notice, so they're not so important. But we can start merging. So let's do it now. So merge and merge, and we have the second hand, and now I will crop it to canvas, and you will see why in a few minutes. So ours, we can now merge these two also, so add, and these two here, so add, and now we can show the three of them. So now we have the hands developed, and I guess we can conclude that they're nice. I guess they'll work wonderfully. But these are just images. They're not rotaries. They won't rotate. So we need to add the rotaries, and I'm just going to duplicate them. And now we have this, and we'll set the data type. So hours 12, minutes, and seconds. And right now you'll notice when I select the data type, if you look there on the layers list, the name will change. So this is a new feature you can enable here, just in case you don't know. Auto rename widgets. Okay, so you can simply come in here and tell Facemaker to rename the widgets according to the data type you select. And this is very useful. Okay, so let's go into the hours, and here on the image preview, we'll click and press Ctrl+C to copy the image, and here click the image preview on the rotary and press Ctrl+V. And there we go. We have, oh, I forgot to, this is why I cropped to the canvas. So let's do the same thing to the other two. Crop the canvas and crop the canvas. Let's go back into the hours 12, and, or rather, let's copy it first, so the hours image, and then come in here and paste this. There you go. Now we can put it on the top left corner, just like that, and it will be centered. So let's hide the images so you can see better, and the rotaries while you're at it. And now we need to edit the rotary. So we need to set it to the center of the watch face. And this is why I made the image full sized, because now we only need to set it to the half of the watch size. So half of 466 is 233 and 233. And there you go. The pivot is placed and all is good. And now we can simply crop the content, and if we press play, it is pointing to the 2 o'clock. So there you go. Let's do the same for the others. So let's go into the minutes, Ctrl+C, minutes rotary, click Ctrl+V. There we go. And we can now set the pivot right there, put it on the top left corner, and then crop the content. And I am sure that this is correct. And there you go. This is a little trick you can use because it will make your life easier. Instead of having to, place the hand and then setting the pivot location, you can simply do this. So Ctrl+C, go into the hands, and Ctrl+V. Put it on the top left corner, set the pivot to the center of the watch face, and there you go. We can now simply show it, and if we press play, how great is that? Okay, our watch face is almost done. Let me see here if we're missing something. Oh yes, the AM, PM, I guess. Oh no. No, our watch face is done. I mean, we still have the always on display to add, and we can do that very quickly. So let me show you how I usually do. I go into the background, and first you have to merge all these layers. So let me save before I do it. And now let's start merging all these layers. So add. I am preparing a right-click dialog, so you can simply select several layers like this, right-click and select merge. Okay, the option will only appear if all of the selected images are contiguous, one after the other, and they're all images. Okay, so let's finish merging all these. And what we want is to, in the end, to have a, oh, by the way, I'm going to delete the reference. We don't need it anymore. And I believe that, yes, had. And we're all set. But you'll notice that the image is larger than the canvas. We must have had some of the widgets that had a shadow effect or something, and it grew outside the canvas. So this is easy to fix. Just come in here and crop the content, or rather crop the canvas, And now this is cut to canvas, keeping the location. And now for good measure, I'll add a sphere. And there we go. Simply and absolutely perfect. So now we have this image that we can use on the always on display. The always on display is a part of the watch face that will only show when the screen goes off. So when the watch is trying to save battery. Here I am going to copy this widget, so Control-C, and select the background container inside the AOD and press Control-V. And we have a copy of the background here on the always on display. I'm going to hide the guidelines for now, but this is too colorful for a always on display. So I'll add a grayscale effect. And immediately you see what we have here. So we made it darker, or rather colorless, and now I'll make it darker by lowering the brightness here. Not so much, maybe this will be perfect. So now that we have this, we need the time. So I'm going to copy the hands. So let's go in here and copy these two. So Control-C, time, Control-V, and I'll also add brightness effect. And since the last one we added was a brightness, you can simply select it just like that and apply the same effect we added to the background. If we press play now, you'll see that we have this, okay? But it doesn't look right because we're missing that pivot. Since we don't have the second hand here, we need to add that pivot there that we had, okay? Oh, I forgot about one thing. Oh, darn. Oh no, it's not a problem. I have these images here that I can simply select and delete. These were the images we used to create the hands. I'm sorry. So, okay, going back here. Now we need a pivot. So, but we don't need to design it because we can't lose more time. So I'm gonna add an image and go into the library, and you have some images you can use as pivots. So let's go into the elements, and right here you see we have some sort of pivot image. And if you take a look now, it looks at least better than it used to be. So all I need to do is center this and we'll be golden. So let me see here, and there we go. Now this is done, and I guess this watch face is finished. So I can't remember if I placed all the containers correctly. Let me see here. Yeah, the steps are there. So, okay. I guess this watch face is finished. I am so sorry for making such long videos, but I believe this is very useful for you as a newbie and as also as an experienced Facemaker user, so you can see me doing these things. I mean, showing the features as in other videos I make, it's not the same as watching me creating a full watch face from the ground up. I mean, I think this is much more useful for you as a user to learn how to create these complete watch faces using only Facemaker. So yeah, it was a pleasure once again to create another watch face for you. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, please. It will help this channel a lot, and I hope to see you on the next Facemaker video tutorial. Thank you very much. Bye.